Yeah, absolutely well deserved. For the intention, for the minute one, impressing for the last minutes. So we cannot expect have 10, 12 chances against that team. It's the European champion. So you are in the touchline and you realize how incredible they are, how in duels, how aggressive they are. And there is a football, so they wait in a transition to punish us, and we score a goal in a transition.
We lost a tight match. This can happen. I'm not okay. We don't like the result, but we have won similar matches against City. We have, and you can play draw easily in this kind of match. It was about individual quality, and we lacked quality today up front. This is about form and confidence, and the players need to show up. Our offensive players need to show up more. We need consistency. We need them. There's this Chelsea is not a place to hide and wait, and it's not like this.
Is the league table and the way it stands something that bothers you City players just at the moment?
I think you just have to close the noise from outside. I think we've been in this situation where we've been like 8-10 points ahead, but also like 8-10 points behind. So we know we can change very quickly. We know the gap is big for the moment, but Liverpool are not too far if they win their game. So yeah, it's game on.
12 straight Premier League wins now for Manchester City, and Chelsea just one shot on target, Micah. Another tactical masterclass from City, wasn't it?
It was a great game. City were relentless and pressed Chelsea high up straight from the off. I mean, if you look at Sterling, De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva here, they didn't give Chelsea a minute of peace. And a lot of people look at Man City and look at the flair players. This one leads to an opportunity for Jack Grealish. He should
That's
score.
the idea of pressing high, isn't it? If you win the ball, you've not got far to go.
Exactly that. But they do it with numbers. And, you know, you look at the offensive players and think, yes, they've got fantastic talent, which they are, but they work hard. Anyone watching this, any young player watching, you think Lukaku, if he turns on here, it's danger. You've got your midfielders covering round, doing their jobs, which gives, you know, the licence to the forward players to go do their stuff up front. Should have probably hit the target here, Sterling. But I thought a really good half. They lose the ball once, they lose the ball twice, but he gets back on his feet, plays a little ball to Foden, and Foden should hit the target. But this is perfect. We talk about breaking the lines, and this is a perfect example of that. De Bruyne on the half-turn, Cancelo, first-time ball, and this is just wonderful. This is why he's the best midfielder in the Premier League. For moments like that, the technical ability, and just Kepa just takes a step to his right there, which allows him to see the gap. But it's a wonderful finish from De Bruyne. It really was.
Picked up from Thomas Tuchel at the end. He said, we lacked quality up front. Now, obviously, up front was Lukaku. We've had Lukaku recently. He's played the last couple. He played in the Cup in midweek. He's started again. He's obviously finding his way and he's finding his rhythm. What did you make of his performance?
Well, for that relationship to work, Gary, there has to be a better understanding from him and from his teammates, so they know how they get the best that works for the team. And I certainly didn't feel that today, in terms of they've got into so many good positions and they were wasteful. Not all of it his fault, some of it his teammates' fault as well. So to get the best out of him, I think you've got to play balls early, you've got to get balls into the box, and Tuchel said you've got to have better quality. This is pretty hopeless from Ziyech, because that's a simple pass at this level. And the weight of it is just terrible, straight through to the goalkeeper. You can see his reaction, what he thinks of there. Absolutely right. Good turn here from Lukaku. Too strong for Stones. What on earth is he doing trying to pass this into Ziyech? Because, one, he's offside. If he does want to pass it, which he shouldn't, the simple pass is into Alonso. But he's got to pull the trigger there and have a shot at goal, not look to pass that. But, as I said, his teammates has got to do better for him also, because Pulisic, he gets the ball on the right-hand side. That ball can come in now. That's one opportunity. The ball can then come in again. He still looks and chooses not to put it in, even a third time. By the time he thinks, OK, I'm going to put it in, it's too late. The ball needs to come in. It needs to have to be on the end of those crosses. This is the big opportunity. That's a lot better pass. That is from Kovacic. That should be in the back of the net. But at least they found him on this occasion. Azpilicueta's turn now. Look, he's pointing to where he wants it. That ball has to go in. Again, it's not a difficult pass. He doesn't look once at all to think whether he can put it into him. Then it's the easy pass, and then it's too late. The chance and the opportunity is gone. You've got to move the ball quicker if you want to get the best out of your forward players. Hudson-Odoi works it into a good position, but that is just poor quality. One touch in the box for Lukaku today, and only 20 touches all game. I know he's playing against good opposition, superb opposition, who are very well organised defensively. But, as I said, they did get into some very good positions and they were wasteful.
Got to make the most of it.
Yeah.
City are on, they're on a real charge, Micah. I mean, they're leaving the opposition for dead. Look at this. This is a patch of 6 games. They've gone from a lead of 1 point from Liverpool and 2 from Chelsea to 13 and 14, respectively. I mean, Liverpool, a couple of games in hand. Closest they can get if they win those is, what, 8 points?
Outstanding.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it. And think, Stones and Laporte played today.
Yeah.
No Diaz.
Yeah.
Leaving your best centre-half.
Well, he can juggle his side without actually ever weakening
Man City
it.
deal with it the best. And people can say, they've got the most probably expensive squad.
They've probably had a bit of luck in terms of injuries and COVID compared with many teams.
I think the thing is, a lot of the players came back late. So in terms of pre-season, it's like now they're getting into gear.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Well, what a win it was for Manchester City, who are now 13 points clear, as you can see, at the top of the table. And the champions, Owen, are looking like they're going to be a difficult team to dethrone.
Yeah, well, they just dethroned, the Champions League winners in Chelsea. They won't be in the title race anymore. That was pretty much the end of that. I thought Man City, to hold the European Championships to one shot on target over in the 2 games at the Stamford Bridge and the Etihad just tells you what you're dealing with. Defensively, Man City, they don't get enough credit. The fewest goals conceded in the league. The press is absolutely amazing. And they've been the outstanding team in this division so far. I thought Chelsea did OK today, but you saw who's going to be the champion this season, and that was Man City.
Yeah, as Owen said, best defence, highest scoring team. There's nothing not to like about this team.
No, and it's their will to just keep doing it, because Chelsea have to get credit for the way they did defend. And Chelsea, you have to understand with Manchester City, they're so good at winning the ball back in the areas where they then activate Sterling and Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne, that when you get the opportunity to break on them, because you can, you have to punish them. If you don't, as much as this game only ended up 1-0, they were so dominant in the game. Chelsea really couldn't get themselves going because City was so good in the way they pressed them. And so if you do get the chance, like Tuchel said there, you have to take it. But in the end, I think Manchester City definitely deserved to win the game. And sometimes 1-0 is enough, especially the way they played.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we see them winning by high goal margins, and we also now are starting to see them win 1-0. They've got everything in their locker. They've now won 12 in a row, and along the way, they've scored, 34 goals. It's just unbelievable. Those numbers are incredible, Owen.
Well, before, you could have maybe criticised, you could get at City defensively, and they had some issues there. Then they go and sign Ruben Dias, and all of a sudden, it's like a vault. They've got the best defence in the Premier League. Liverpool had it when they won the title. Now it's Man City, and obviously the goal scoring is probably not where it was. No. But because they don't really concede, once they get one up, they keep so much of the ball, you can't beat them. I don't see them really dropping points because there's no weakness in that side.
Well, there was only 1 goal scored today, but wasn't it a beauty?
Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. I think that you have to give De Bruyne credit as well, because I think that he's starting to get up to speed. I think that the COVID and everything, he's even said it himself, it kind of affected him. He's starting to get himself back, but there's just a little bit of moment when you look at this goal with the goalkeeper. I don't know if he's trying to look round the side, because I think this bends round somebody, but he moves to his right, and then just at that moment, Kevin De Bruyne just puts it to his left. It was a fantastic goal. A fantastic goal.
To think, he hasn't played every game. He hasn't. I think he's probably only started about half of those games, obviously with injuries and COVID. So, think about if you took Mo Salah out of Liverpool's side, how different they would be. But Man City are that good and with so much depth that Bernardo Silva comes in and Phil Foden and Gundogan and all the players that they have, and they don't even miss a beat. That's how great Pep is. So to get him back into the side, Kevin De Bruyne, they're the favourite for everything. Yes. Premier League, Champions League.
But the Champions League is the one that he really
absolutely.
wants.
Look, let's be honest, the Champions League, that's the one they want to get their hands on.
We've just been talking about Kevin De Bruyne. He's now scored 5 goals against Chelsea. He scored against them more than any other team in the league. And he was talking to the team in the Matchday Live studio.
He had Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin, well done. And when we spoke yesterday, you said you expected a difficult game. Is that what you got?
Yeah, I think so. I think the game went like we expected. Chelsea very good defensively, very tight, compact. And it's very difficult to create a lot of opportunities. But I think scoring that 1 goal that makes the difference today was enough.
You mentioned the word patience there. You've had plenty of practice in that scenario. Is that difficult to do sometimes when you've got so much of the ball?
A little bit too open, and then it makes it really difficult sometimes to control the game. But I think we didn't give too much. Maybe a little bit in the beginning, but the team did very well in that aspect.
Now, when we spoke yesterday, I mentioned to you about your hero growing up, Michael Owen, sitting with me in the studio every week. He was out of his seat today. Did you see any Michael Owen videos of goals like that when you were growing up?
Well, obviously the one that I always have in my head is the one from England against Argentina, but I'm not as quick to go past the people, so I just shoot from the 16.
Michael, you better chip in here, because it's a big moment for Kevin.
It is. I feel very honoured, Kevin. Thanks very much. Just going on to your goal today, Kevin, I was interested to see Conte was almost going to bring you down, probably going to take a yellow card. But at what point did you think, I've got to keep my feet? At what point did you think there's a goal, an opportunity here, let's say, to score?
Well, the moment that I'm going away from Conte, I'm trying to look where the spaces are. But I saw the defenders backing off, and then when I was almost at the 16, I saw a little gap between the 2 defenders. So I tried to bend around where the keeper can't really see it, and it worked perfectly.
And what's that feeling like in a tight, huge game like this to produce something like that when it hits the back of the net?
Yeah, it's a significant moment for us. I think it keeps our run going, and the big games is very important to get the most points as possible. And I think we've done that very well this year. And just keep going, work hard, and try to win the games.
Hey, Kevin, Sean Wright Phillips there. Just a quick one. How surprised was you from the lack of aggression from Chelsea? Because we all thought they would be more aggressive in the high press.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it yesterday because they've been pressing a little bit different lately, where one of the wing-backs was going into like a 4-4-2. But I think the first half they didn't really do that, but I think they did try to do it in the second half, and I think that's why there were some more spaces in between the lines. But yeah, obviously I don't know what their tactic was before the game, but they play the system that they always play, what they are very good at. So in that aspect, there's nothing different.
And just finally, Kevin, you mentioned the gap yesterday when we had that conversation. It's got even bigger over Chelsea now. This momentum, 12 league games in a row. You're at the time of the year where generally you just keep on winning.
Well, let's hope we do the same next week. I know at the moment we get a lot of praise as individuals, as a team, but we need to keep going. The more points we can take, the quicker, the more tougher it becomes for the opponent. But it's only January. Work hard, keep your head down, and then good things maybe will come.
Kevin De Bruyne, what a quality player he is. We've just loved watching him in the Premier League, haven't we? Interestingly, Sean asked a great question and mentioned the fact that Chelsea's lack of aggression, which actually was quite surprising.
It was, but I wasn't too surprised because Mason Mount didn't start. I was very surprised that Mason Mount didn't start or didn't play today, because when he is playing, he does have a lot of energy in that department, the closing down and starting the closing down and the press. And I think that Man City would have thought at some stage they may have got that kind of counter press, or Chelsea might have done something like that. But I thought that Chelsea missed the trick with that. And in the end, as good as Manchester City are, if you're not going to give them any kind of pressure there where you're going to cause them any problems, then they're just going to get more and more comfortable in the game, and they're going to do exactly what they did. Raheem Sterling has to get a mention as well. He was magnificent today. And in the end, I think it was very comfortable for them, which was really surprising. Like you were saying, Owen, about the one shot in 2 games.
Yeah, I think the bridge there didn't have any, and today I think it was 1. So that just tells you the level of Manchester City. You know, the press is intense. You know, even a team like Chelsea, as good as they're on the ball, you know, they struggle to keep it. So many different weapons they can come out you with. Arguably one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League was on the bench today. So John Stones plays. I mean, there's so much depth in this side. And the thing is now, even though they're clear as they are, Pep won't want anybody taking the easy thing and they've won the league, because I think he had that at Bayern Munich, and then he realised come the Champions League time, they weren't really up to speed that they need to be. So now if the boys aren't playing well, they're not sharp, they're not going to play. And all the boys look sharp right now.
But it was interesting, going back to Chelsea, because at the beginning of the league, we were talking about Chelsea as the ones to beat, and they do have everything in terms of the players. I know injuries have cost them, but how do they get themselves back on track?
Well, you say how they get themselves back. I think that a lot of people fancy Chelsea to do well simply because the signing of Lukaku and the goals that would bring a different kind of potency to them. But I think that when you're playing against United, when you're playing against City, you have to take chances like this. You have to be more clinical with this. Lukaku's going in on his left foot. You've got to keep going and shoot. You know, he's trying to maybe play it into Ziyech, and I think that he's got to understand that he's there to score goals. Ziyech looks like he's running off in an offside position. Lukaku's going onto his strong left foot. You've got to test the goalkeeper, because you've got to, in those instances, you've got to test Manchester City. Because if you don't, again here, this is an unbelievable chance. He has to score that. Maybe take another touch, a more solid strike, because you're not going to get too. Maybe take another touch, a more solid strike, because you're not going to get too many opportunities like this. And what this showed, even how good they are, is that top quality teams, you have to punish them, and they didn't punish them, and so you know they rightly lost the game. But that's what Tuchel was saying. They had chances where they could have got something, because they did defend very well. Yeah, certainly. And actually mentioning Tuchel there, he's coming up to his 1-year anniversary as the Chelsea boss. What's the assessment of his reign?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. A+. Yeah. He should go in and ask for a raise, because he's from where they were to take them to win the Champions League. Look, they're way behind in the project compared to Man City and Liverpool, so I think he's done amazing. No shame in losing to Manchester City. 1-0 almost at times is... You can accept that, but I think they need some investment like Liverpool and Man City had in the summer. A-star for you? A-star for me, man. I think he's been fantastic in the way he does it. He's very vigilant in what he wants to do. He knows exactly where his team is. You know, he's got no problems with leaving people out. He's got no problems with doing whatever he does. I just think that he's a wonderful addition to the Premier League in respect of the top managers we've got here.
Well, Joseph, what a party.
Yeah, it was a great victory for the players, the fans, and everyone.
What do you think about your performance?
I think it was good, and each game it keeps getting better.
We need this match, no, with 3 goals.
Yeah, it was really great because we fought hard for this victory, and everyone deserved to be happy.
Bueno, es el mejor partido de la temporada en lo que va de liga, ¿no?
No sé si el mejor, pero sí el que hemos sabido jugar con el marcador a nuestro favor, que nos estaba costando mucho, y sobre todo felices por ganar en casa, porque nos estaba costando muchísimo. Desde que hay público en el estadio solo habíamos ganado un partido de no sé cuántos, o sea que hoy el partido creo que era fundamental porque nos ponemos también a 3 puntos del Español, que es un rival directo, para alejarnos de ahí abajo, para irnos tranquilos de vacaciones y pensar en lo que viene.
Con el partido contra el Valencia también nos ponemos por delante, pero el Chacho se quejaba, ¿no? Un poco que nos había faltado controlar el partido, y es lo que tú dices, ¿no? Se ha conseguido.
Bueno, sobre todo hoy no hemos tenido errores individuales que nos pagaron contra el Valencia. Creo que es un partido para sacar conclusiones positivas. Hemos vuelto a ganar en casa, tenemos que hacernos fuertes aquí de lo que queda de temporada, porque fuera de casa sí el equipo está respondiendo bien. Y tenemos que seguir esta línea.
Cuéntame el gol, ¿no? Porque ha sido una jugada rápida, pero cuando te ha llegado ha sido como mucha pausa, las pican. ¿Cómo ha sido?
Bueno, recibo de Hugo, controlo y normalmente Diego López suele salir a tapar. Veo muchos partidos y Diego López en los 1 para 1 suele salir a tapar, entonces yo controlo y él no ve lo que voy a hacer, entonces intento picársela un poquito y cruzársela con tranquilidad.
¿Cómo ya tocaba? Tocaba, pero ahora mismo sentimos una alegría inmensa, ya no solo por el partido, sino estamos trabajando como el que más, estamos en el día a día muy sacrificados, con los pies en la tierra, con humildad, y al final somos una piña y hoy nos lo merecíamos y se lo merecía también la afición, que pues mira, no estamos ganando, no nos están saliendo los partidos en casa y aún así la afición cree en nosotros, nos apoya y nos transmite el cariño día a día. Eso te iba a decir, has dicho que sois una piña equipo, pero la afición también, hemos visto ese momento tan bonito ahí en la esquina. Sí, sabemos que le debemos mucho a esta afición, no solo de esta temporada, sino que por desgracia hemos vivido un par de temporadas muy jodidas, sobre todo a nivel mental, muy difíciles de sacar, y las hemos sacado esas temporadas gracias al apoyo de ellos. En otra situación, en otro equipo, la afición lo dejaría de lado, y aquí, cuanto peor iban las cosas, más estaban con uno y con el equipo. Y eso es de agradecer, y se lo agradeceremos hoy, mañana y en un futuro. En lo personal, vuelves después de varias semanas que parecía que sí, pero al final no, 90 minutos con asistencia. La verdad que bueno, no estoy al 100%, pero creo que he podido ayudar al equipo. Venía de mucho tiempo parado, unos problemas que no se me daban ido. Entrenaba, tenía que volver a parar, volví a aparecer, volví a parar. Bueno, espero que ahora sea el fin de esta lesión del carajo, porque ya estoy frito, y que pueda ayudar y contribuir al equipo. Saca 2001, 2022. Por el 2022 a tope. Tenemos que seguir con los pies en la tierra, saber quiénes somos, de dónde venimos, y con esta afición, con el equipo, con el compañerismo y el sacrificio. No quiero ser pesado, pero creo que son las claves para mirar hacia adelante en un futuro. Gracias, Hugo. Gracias a vosotros. Gracias, Hugo.